resolution. They are just like goals, but they are not SMART. So if you say, okay, I want to get a distinction in English, A, that's a goal. Or if you set it close to New Year's or before New Year's, it's more of a New Year's resolution goal. So that's a good that's a good place to start. But if you don't do things that help you achieve it, and there's no way to measure it, and we'll say if it's not connected to another bigger goal and it doesn't have a deadline, you are not, or most likely not going to achieve it. So that's the issue with New Year's resolution. It's more of just like a goal or just a wish. It's a little bit too vague. But once you are smart with your goals, there's a higher possibility of you accomplishing them. So here is an example of how to set a SMART goal. So I use mathematics because most people are familiar with mathematics, but you can do it for any subject. So you want to be specific. Do not say, I want to pass mathematics. Pass is not a grade. I've told some students that in the past. If you say I want to pass mathematics, then you're not specific and you would not put in as much time and sacrifice to accomplish a pass that you don't know what grade or the amount of marks you need to accomplish a goal. So be more specific. You want to get a distinction. I know everybody may not want to get a distinction, it's okay. But whatever your goal is, I want to get a 1 or I want to get a 2. Now for CSEC, I know some of you all in school, you'll see and some of your private candidates, more like adult students. The lowest pass grade is a 3, which is usually around 50 to about on average 56 marks. So you want to be clear on how much marks you want to get. When you are clear on how much marks, it makes it easier to measure. So when you do quizzes, when you do assignments, homeworks, exams, you say, okay, if my goal is to get about 95, and I now start maths, I got 50, you're not there yet. So you still have to put in some work to get closer to the goal. So that's why putting figures is more specific. And doing quizzes, assignments, homework, etc. helps you to measure, to tell how far away you are from your goal. Now, it must be achievable. So, in order for it to be achievable, in order for it to be achievable, you would do things that will help you achieve it. So, some of you all attend school physically, or you have a day school. Some of you all do part-time, some do both day school and evening, which is extra lessons. Some might do their own personal studies, not in like a paid lesson. So however, you have to make sure you are doing all the necessary things that will help you achieve, right? So if you're writing CSEC, because I know some of you are writing CXC next year, God's willing, some may be writing the following year, whatever you're writing CXC exam, or whatever exams you're writing, because there may be persons, I don't know if anybody is in here for SCA, if it's SCA, or if there's anybody here for university, any exam, regardless, you want to make sure and cover the material. So for CXC, you want to cover the syllabus. But especially if you want to get a distinction, you have to know the entire syllabus. If you want a lesser grade, you may, like say for example, you want a 2, you might want to cover 80% of the syllabus. So those things are important to know, right? For SCA, I don't know if anybody in SCA here, most likely not much SCA in the case, or you might have a sibling who's in SCA. They want to cover the curriculum, which is also like a syllabus, right? It gives like all the topics that they need to learn in preparation for the exam. I would plug in something here, right? As a person who have been in the education space for over 5 years, I have seen year after year, a lot of the public schools do not cover everything from the syllabus. So this was not planned, but I'm just saying if you are writing an exam, it is good or important to have access to the syllabus in case the school or the teacher doesn't cover it entirely. You, or if you're a younger child, you along with your parents would go through and see what they covered, and then you may have to do some personal studies, especially if you have a textbook, which will make it more handy. And of course, there's a saying, as a student, make YouTube your friend. It's really helpful. Now, I'm not saying everything on YouTube is accurate, but you get a lot of information that is accurate or correct, or you could use to help in your studies and also make the studies a little bit more fun. The relevant part is when I pass this subject, I will be able to get my dream job. No, I know you all probably don't want to be teachers. You know, as I say that, let me stick this. For those who know me as a teacher, I have the honest truth, I've never dreamed a day to be a teacher. I know that might sound real weird, but I remember my grandmother used to tell me from very young, you know, you can be a teacher, right? No. I always said no, no, no. But it's only probably within the last 10 years around there, I realized I do have a love for teaching and for explaining things and to help people understand. So yeah, God always knows best. But yeah, sometimes you may not want to become something, but depending on what you have been through life, like me, I have a story that I could always tell people. I used to fail, and then I went from failing to all these different awards and honors and all these things that usually encourage students to know, okay, if I can do it, they can do it. So, time bomb. It must have a deadline. Now, in some cases, if you're doing like your own studies, like private candidates, the more grown folks or repeaters, you all may, like, for example, some people may choose to write next year, January 2025. You have 7 months from now. Or some people choose to write May, June 2025. You have almost a year. Persons who are in school, if you're writing an exam next year, if you are in Form 4 going in Form 5, you have about a year. Again, to finish the syllabus. If you are in Form 4, you have 2 years. So it must have a deadline, because when you don't have a deadline, what happens is you keep procrastinating. What is procrastinating? Then delaying, delay, delay. So the deadlines are important. And let me tell you how important this is. I had to learn my lesson in university regarding deadline. When I started my college degree, based on what they gave us, the outline of the courses I needed to complete, it was supposed to be done in 4 years. This is like how important the deadlines are. The university is not like high school. I know some of you all intend to go to university, so what I'm saying now may be helpful if you're not there. So in high school and even primary, you have your first 5 years. And if you finish the syllabus or not, by the time you are in Form 5, you still have to write the exam. And if you fail, you may have to rewrite. If you pass, you can move on. University not like that. In university, you can kind of, I didn't know this up from, I know this now. University is like you have to choose your own pace. So I started off as a full-time student, and I was registered as a full-time student all the time. The first term or semester, I did 5 courses. I supposed to do 6, but I did 5 because it was too much, and I didn't know how to deal with all the pressure and deadlines. It's like in university, doing 5 courses at the same time. It's like every week you have 5 plus deadlines. Every single week you have quizzes, assignments, all kinds of things. So it's a whole set of things you have to read. A chapter, which is something like 30-something pages for each course, is a whole lot of pressure. So you have to know how to manage this and be time way more than anything. So, but why am I saying this? At certain points in university, for me, I was studying part-time as well. So there were certain terms or semesters I would do 2 or 3 subjects because I was working at the same time. I had to find a balance between what I was doing. And I didn't realize that would have pushed me to have to go through university an additional year. So that's the thing with university. If it is, yes, you can do full courses or 5, 6 courses, or you can do part-time, like 2, 3, every 3 months. But when you do that, there are persons who end up 10 years in university and then when finish. So university, you have to set your deadline, even though they give you a outline with 3 years, you supposed to finish it. I thought it would work like how high school is. No, it don't work like that. You have to make sure that you set a deadline when you want to finish. Some people finish in 3 years a 4 year degree because they set their deadlines. Some finish in the 4 years. Me, I end up finishing 5 years. Only after the 4 years, I realized, wait, hold on, I could not an extra year here. I don't want to go on to 2 extra years, so I had to set a deadline. So for you all who are mainly like CSEC students, you all will have deadlines with CSEC because they will have the exams on particular days. Unless you choose to drop out and you start back and all these type of things, then you'll be prolonging your deadlines. But if you choose to go to university, you have to be very clear on your deadline for your own self. Because if you don't finish the number of courses you're supposed to complete, you are not going to be allowed to graduate. So that's something to keep in mind.